head-to-head in, where we usually put an older wrestler against a younger wrestler, and the Pharaoh will explain the rules. But first, our super producer will play the intro.
Tonight, we are going to witness the most anticipated match in the history of professional wrestling for the heavyweight championship of the world. Are you ready? Wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, from the capital city of the United States of America, Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Tonight.
All right, it's head-to-head where we have the famous Bob Backlund in studio against Jimmy Pharaoh's top 3 favorite wrestlers. Mr. CM Punk, don't think this wasn't done by design. But first, Mr. Pharaoh will explain the rules of head-to-head.
All right, folks, we go through 5 categories, taking both wrestlers and putting them head-to-head. Category number 1, mic skills. Do you interest me, or do I have to change the channel? Go get a Swanson TV dinner? Do you interest me? Mic skills. Number 2, mat skills. Once again, are you Bret Hart, or are you... Give me a lousy wrestler, Mike. Give me anybody.
Give you anybody.
Yeah, like the Great Khali or something.
We'll go with Mustafa Muhammad.
Ooh, yeah, okay. You get the picture, folks? Number 3, overall influence on the industry. Do you agree with CM Punk, or do you think that it's hilarious that he's even comparing him to "What you gonna do, brother?" Having an overall influence on the industry, see Mr. Hogan. Category number 4, the back of the baseball card. What have you done? How many belts you've won? Did you ever own the briefcase? Did you ever win the Royal Rumble? Did you ever go over to Wrestle Kingdom and sell that out overseas? What have you done? What's on the back of your baseball card? Number 5, final category, the it factor. When I look at you, do I see something that makes me want to stay engaged? Or are you just drawing paint like some lousy podcasts in other states?
There you go.
What are you going to do?
There you go.
So there it is.
Shot fired.
That was not a shot. That was just a comment.
Yeah,
just
an evaluation.
It's a harmless... an evaluation.
All right, so who we got up first, brother?
Well, our first contestant, and I hate you, by the way, for doing this, because you do this all the time. You pick one of my favorite guys. You never pick one of your favorite guys, because you don't want your favorite guy to possibly lose to anyone. You pick one of my favorite guys, and you put him against a legend.
There you go.
So, today...
That's what it's all about.
Today, opponent...
It's kind of in the AEW, WWE realm, though, right? That's why I wanted this, right?
If you say so. You were just looking for trouble and get a rise out of the Pharaoh. Our first contestant.
The Pharaoh was angry today.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed when I saw this. Robert Louis Backlund. You mean Bob Backlund, born August 14th, 1949. Of course, he's retired at the given moment, but you never know. He may come back and put a chicken wing on the Pharaoh again. He is best known for his appearances, obviously, as WWF champion. He wrestled in the first run with them, 76 to 84. Held the belt for almost 6 years. I think it was like 5 years, 8 months and change or something like that. Very long run. And, of course, he returned in the early 90s, shocked the shit out of everybody, and won the belt again, which was just actually surprising as could be. So this is a 2-time WWF champion and probably our favorite guest ever in the studio.
Absolutely.
The great Bob Backlund. His opponent tonight, CM Punk. Now, Mike put his birth name here, but I'm not going to read it. Born October 26, 1978, was CM Punk. by the way, he's born in October, just like the Pharaoh. Another reason for the Pharaoh to like him. Better known by the ring name CM Punk, because I did not mention his aforementioned name. This last sentence means jack shit. Anyway, American professional wrestler. No kidding. Martial arts commentator. I must have missed that one. And we know about the former professional MMA thing that didn't do so well, but let's not get into that. Currently signed to All Elite Wrestling, obviously. He is best known, well, he's known for many things besides the pipe bomb, but he's best known for his 434-day reign, which stands as the 6th longest in title history for the WWE and the longest title reign in over a quarter of a century, this past quarter of a century. The great CM Punk.
All right, let's have it. Let's
right.
open up with mic skills. Pharaoh, Bob Backlund, or CM Punk?
This one's pretty easy. The mic skills clearly go to CM Punk. Clearly. Not just for the pipe bomb, just for the fact that he's always been a great talker. This is not really that close. This is a blowout, in my opinion, in category number 1. Now, that doesn't mean that Bob wasn't great at doing what he did. Bob was a great
different
face.
Character.
You know, when you look back in the old days and he's boring, he's this, he's that. No, he was actually very good at what he did. You know, he was a great face interview. I did love when he got angry a few times. He was excellent when he was angry. Bob Backlund angry is a good interview.
By the way, Davey O.B. says legends are born in October. You're a legend. Look at that. Did you know?
Yeah.
I will say this. Clearly, this is a blowout on this particular item.
I think he's got him on this.
But I want to give Backlund some credit for some very good interviews that I remember.
Sure.
So I don't want, like you said, he was good at some things. He just wasn't CM Punk. So yeah, I'll go with that. So CM Punk takes the first leg of this battle.
Yes, he
in
does.
Mike's skills.
Number
Number 2 is Matt's skills, buddy.
Yeah, why don't you go first on this one?
This to me is
Slam dunk the other way.
a slam dunk the other way.
I think so.
I will say that Phil is a good wrestler.
I don't know who you're talking about.
All right, CM Punk, I
you
apologize.
refer to him as CM Punk. Thank you.
By the way,
He's
Maria
an
Davis says
excellent
Backlund promo is pretty good. Absolutely.
He was not bad at all.
Stingers got Punk all the way. Come on,
Okay.
you got to hear this out, Stingers. You can't just make that decision.
That's cool. That's cool.
Backlund was a better wrestler.
He was.
His
He was.
matches were better.
I don't know about that.
His storytelling was better in the ring.
I don't know
well,
about that
you're
either.
gonna win. So
Okay.
I'm going to give Matt Skills a blowout to the former two-time world champion Bob Backlund.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I also do give the mat skills to Bob Backlund. I have several reasons. Besides the obvious, he was a national champion, so obviously the guy was a great wrestler just from scratch, just from the get-go. But also the technical ability in the ring. Bob Backlund was a magician. Amazing mat wrestler. Without Bob Backlund, I'm not sure if we get some of the guys we got later on. Bob Backlund was tremendous. CM Punk is an excellent in-ring wrestler. Excellent in-ring wrestler. And for his time period, one of the best. Bob Backlund's got him beat. I have to go with Bob Backlund here. So
right,
I
so-
think we got ourselves a draw so
So
far.
right now, 1-1. Overall influence in the industry, Farrell.
CM Punk. To me, this is not close. The reason why, for the last 10 years, fans have begun to revolt and have followed through, obviously. The reason why so many wrestlers look in the mirror and go, no, I don't have to do this.
By the
I'm
way,
not doing
Stinger
this."
says Bob's matches were boring,
I
but Maria
enjoyed them.
Davis says Bob's techniques were better than CM Punk.
Understood.
So I got to disagree with you on the Backlund matches being
They were
boring.
not boring. They were great. A lot
I
of them
think
were
I
great.
think
Watch
Bob got a
Backlund
bad
versus
rap.
Adonis.
Bob Backlund against Playboy Buddy Rose.
That was
Backlund,
great.
I think Backlund got
Morocco.
Backlund didn't have the flair
Right.
that people expected. Go on.
Right.
I didn't mean to interrupt you
No,
on the
that's
CM
fine.
Punk
No,
thing.
Backlund did not have the flair, but I can understand why some people think his matches were boring because they thought he was
So
boring.
let me try
That's
to convince
fine.
you the otherwise on the it factor. Is it
No, that's not the it factor. We're on the influence. The it factor is
the overall
category 5.
influence. I'm sorry.
Overall influence on the industry.
Let me
is
try.
CM Punk.
So let me ask
The
you.
reason why we have all these wrestlers today doing what they're doing is from CM Punk. The pipe bomb, when he sat down on that stage, it initiated a lot more than freedom of speech. It initiated a wrestler's freedom of thought and taking that thought to action. Everything has changed because of a guy like CM Punk. and we are feeling it today.
Would you
we
say
felt
that
it this week?
Would you say the non-wrestling fan, if you talk to him in the street,
and
said
they know
Bob
who
Backlund,
Punk is
CM
over Bob
Punk,
Backlund.
see, I'm not so I'm not so sure about.
They know who Punk is.
The issue I think on this particular is
influence on the industry.
Yeah. So Backlund in his day had a huge influence on the industry.
I don't agree. I feel that Bob Backlund was carrying the torch for traditional professional wrestling, and Hulk Hogan gave it a leg drop, and that was the end of that. That's how I look at that. Hulk Hogan gave that sucker a leg drop. See ya. Bob Backlund became, and it wasn't fair and it wasn't right, but Bob Backlund became a fart in the wind so fast, and Hulkamania was here. The end.
So
So
I'll play devil's advocate on that. Overall influence in the industry. This is a guy who never main evented a WrestleMania.
That was Vince's decision. That wasn't the fans' decision. And this is also a guy for the last 7 years that every effing time people chant his name still. This guy had influence on this industry. Bigger than the great Bob Backlund.
Does
the way it goes.
Does your go 6 months from now?
Yeah.
If the ratings don't change,
they will,
and they get worse.
They won't.
But if they do,
okay.
And right now it doesn't look like he's making much of a difference at this point. It's already slipping.
1.3 on a Wednesday night.
You're coming off a really great pay-per-view. Let's be fair here.
Involving who was the biggest story?
Well, it depends on who you're talking to. But it depends on who you're talking to.
Punk's return has ignited this thing.
Okay, he's also on Rampage.
Right,
where it's at 600,000.
And you know what? They were smart to be on 600,000 because who was he going after on that show? So already it was like, all right, Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm like, Powerhouse Hobbs? We went from... I feel that
Jay Bonas says you nailed it with the Hogan analogy.
Yeah, it's the truth.
It's the way it goes. I originally was going to go with Backlund on this, but after your Hogan analogy, I'm going to go with Punk. So we're both in agreement. 2-1 Punk. Back of the baseball card.
This one
you better not.
Well, you can better not me all you want, but it goes something like this. There are only, in 60 years of the WWE, there are only 19 Grand Slam champions. CM Punk is one of them. He has held the world title for the longest reign in the last quarter century. His reign back in those days would have been 5 years. It equates that way because in his day, Punk's time as champion, no one's holding the belt for 434 days. They're not even holding it for 43. But not him. Not him. He held it for 434 days, week after week after week after week. The only reason he didn't get a main event WrestleMania is because Hunter is a dick. That's why he didn't get it. It was personal. It's got nothing to do with him not getting the main event at WrestleMania because he deserved it. He did. He didn't get it because there was dick factor involved. Okay? As far as that goes. Now, Punk has held the world title, as I said, record-breaking, quarter of a century, longest thing. Intercontinental champion, United States champion, tag team champion, ECW world champion, Ring of Honor world champion. This guy's going to be AEW world champion soon. At some point. What more do you want from the guy? However, this is where I must defend Bob Backlund. I must. 5 years, 8 months.
Second longest reigning champion.
Second longest reign in the history of the company. This is where I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it. This is a draw. To me, this is a draw. I will not go against the guy who's won the Grand Slam and had the longest reign in 25 years, nor will I go against the guy who's got the second longest reign after Bruno Sammartino. I can't do it. I think it's even. And that says so much for Bob Backlund's reign.
I think that almost goes back to when we put Chris Jericho against Bruno Sammartino.
Right.
But the back of the baseball card,
right.
I believe that we chose Jericho, now the most intercontinental titles in history ever.
Yeah, we chose Bruno.
Right, we chose Bruno.
Because Bruno had almost 12 years as champion during his 2 reigns. Bob had 5 years, 8 months. The second reign lasted 3 days.
I'm going to go with the 5 years, 8 months over all of the accolades that CM Punk has back of the baseball card. Okay. Different time, right? Different era. Get it? I don't want to punish Punk for that. But on the other hand, let's remember, 5.5 years selling out Madison Square. I don't care what anyone says. Bullshit. The guy didn't sell out.
Bullshit to that.
Right.
Yeah, Bob Backlund was great. We know that. I have to give it a draw out of respect to both of them. I think that both are incredibly impressive during their eras.
All right, so we still got 2-1-1.
Yeah, we got
right,
2-1-1.
and then we got 2-2.
Right.
All right, the It Factor.
Punk. That's not even close. Punk's It Factor is just like Jericho. Punk's It Factor is just like any superstar out there. CM Punk has a huge It Factor. Bob Backlund was Bob Backlund. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to It Factor, I'm sorry. This is not a contest, this particular category. I hope you feel the same way on that one. I know you're not the biggest Punk fan, but this is
I can't disagree with that.
All right.
I can't disagree with that. Like I said, I had this a little closer than you did.
Yeah, that's okay.
We'll give it to Punk. Punk's the winner.
CM Punk.
But
that
again,
hurt, by the way. I absolutely have come. Can we just tell the quick story real fast for some of the fans that are a little newer to us? We grew up during this era. Bob Backlund, we rooted against every month throughout junior high and high school. He took up the entire run of our time in school. He was champion the whole time.
Right.
Every month we went and we rooted against him. I have grown to love Bob Backlund over the years, to love going back and watching his matches. And now I'll even find myself rooting for him against certain guys. I'll be like, go Bob. Go Bob.
Funny enough.
I mean, come to think of it, I did root for Bob against guys like Killer Khan anyway, back in the day, or Angelo Mosca. I certainly wasn't rooting for Angelo Mosca, so I guess I did root for Bob some of the time. Maybe I didn't tell you.
How did you think CM Punk's return, how do you think he wrestled? Do you think he wrestled really great? Do you think he wrestled okay?
He didn't wrestle really great. I'm not going to go over it, but he was solid.
He was serviceable, right? He was serviceable, good
solid,
match, right?
And you can see that he's going to get better.
Smart move putting him against Darby.
Oh, he looked like a monster compared to
Not
Darby.
just that. Darby was able to do things that...
Darby worked with him.
He helped him really
They worked
shine.
well together, by the way. I thought they
All right, we're almost out of time. I want to tell the fans out there, again, starting next week is a huge week for the show, and we're hoping you're all going to join us. On September 16th at 9 p.m., we've got Gary.